Today I want to talk to you about simplifying square roots and also putting an answer into simplest radical form. So first off, simplifying square roots. You guys have been doing this for a number of years, where I ask you, what's the square root of 25? What's the square root of 10? And you're just able to know the answer because you understand square roots. So take a moment, pause this video, and I want you to make sure that you get all of these perfect square roots that I've written down copied into your toolkits. We're going to use these to help us moving forward, and they'll be very helpful whenever we're trying to simplify a square root. So pause this video, get those copied down, and then we can start on the next section. Now that you have your roots copied down, we can get started on something called the simplest radical form. Simplest radical form helps us take our square roots and break them down into smaller parts and simplify. So it's similar to factoring because we want to break the square root into the smallest pieces that we possibly can. So for instance, the square root of 45. I'm going to look at my number 45 and try to find a square root that can divide into 45 by looking at my list on the left. Well, if I look at that list on the left, I'll notice that, the number 9 right here can go into 45 because 45 equals 9 times 5. Since 45 is 9 times 5, that means that the square root of 45 equals the square root of 9 times the square root of 5. Now we know from our chart that the square root of 9 is the whole number 3, and I keep my square root of 5 because that cannot be simplified any further. Looking at part B, we have the square root of 300. Now, I know that I can say, the square root of 300 equals the square root of 100 times 3, because 100 times 3 equals 300. The reason I chose 100 times 3 is because I know the square root of 100 is equal to 10. And since the square root of 3 does not simplify, I leave that written as the square root of 3. Now, occasionally these are harder for us to figure out, such as the square root of 72. And I go, I know that 9 times 8 equals 72. So the square root of 72 equals the square root of 9 times the square root of 8. The square root of 9 is 3. How lucky. But if I look at the square root of 8, I know that I can rewrite the square root of 8 as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. And I want to make that simplification because the square root of 4 is the whole number 2. Now I can't simplify my square root of 2, so I bring that down. And then I simplify 3 times 2. That equals 6. So my answer is 6 root 2. Now some people will come to me and tell me, I know how to solve this a simpler way. Because I know that the square root of 72 can be rewritten as the square root of 36. Times the square root of 2. And I know that the square root of 36 is equal to 6, so my final answer is 6 root 2. Both methods are fine. Part D is like the, I automatically see the largest square root that goes into 72 method. And C is the, I'm not sure what the largest square root is, but I know for sure that 9 goes in, so I'll start with there. Either way works, as long as you get to the final answer of 6 times the square root of 2.
Hi, Math